Hi, and welcome to today's session for Hacktoberfest 2024 with the Jenkins project. My name is Darin Pope. I'm a developer advocate with CloudBees. And along with me, I have Mark Waite. Mark, how are you doing?
Great, Darin.
At some point, I will get the introduction correct, but today was not that day, and that's okay.
One step at a time.
That's not why we're here. That's not why we're here.
No, that's not.
We are here today, grab my handy-dandy paper that I couldn't find 2 days ago, adding pipeline examples. Pipeline syntax dropdown, plugin docs, Jenkins core docs. It sounds like we're doing a lot of stuff that we've never even touched before.
Right. Exactly.
So this should be a fun day.
It will be. We're going to do some things, and we're going to see some things, and we're going to explore a little.
And hopefully my internet holds out. I found a problem because I know it flaked on us a couple days ago. Because I enjoy backups. Well, my backups tend to run all the time. And another machine decided, hey, now's a great time to go ahead and upload 10 gig of backup right now. So
Yeah.
I've changed that on all the machines. I'm now trickling out data just little by little. So
Good.
Hopefully we don't lose me today. The plugin we're going to be working with today is one that's up for adoption. That's called the version number plugin. Right? So
Right.
why did we pick this plugin?
Okay, I admit it. I picked this one because I'm currently a maintainer of it, so it's easy for me to work on it. It has no one maintaining it. It's had low rate of change, but it does have some existing pipeline help. So it gives us a place to start.
Is the key phrase there some pipeline help?
Yeah, that's correct. It needs improvements. The inspiration for choosing this one was there is a feedback form available on the Jenkins.io documentation pages. At the bottom of each page or many pages, there's a link that says, "Was this helpful?" And then users can type in what they're feeling about what they just read. And this particular plugin had a relatively recent comment that said, "Please give me more examples." And so we're going to use this as our excuse to provide an example based on what one of the readers of www.jenkins.io asked to have more examples.
Mark, it's 2024. You can leave the www off because we don't use it anyway.
Oh, sorry. You're right. Fair enough. So Jenkins.io. Good enough.
Okay. All right. So what is this plugin supposed to do? Now, let's just take a look at the plugin page and let's sort of get a feel of what's going on. So
Exactly.
we have a README A doc that tells you the age of this document because it could be like the other thing about this plugin is it's not been completely modernized yet.
Right.
Right.
So
there's still some things. So we're going to be doing things that can be done without being modern, but it'd be sure nice to have it modernized.
the plugin has certainly not been very actively maintained. Right.
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay. But we have the README A doc,
Yeah.
which is still legal because this is getting slurped in and being published to the plugins page. So plugins.jenkins.io, and this is what we see here. So we can make changes to the README A doc, but that's not really going to be that useful. Now, I have to admit, I read this, and I'm still scratching my head. What does it do? I don't even understand.
Yeah. Okay. So what it does is a problem that some developers have is they need to be able to declare a version number for their build, but the version number has nothing to do with the Jenkins build ID. They would like a version number that is the number of days since they started the project, or the number of weeks since they started the project, or some other thing like that. And this plugin tries to do that for the user. So you declare a start date when your project started, and it will compute a value, how long has it been since start date, and give you that.
Okay. So basically, people can define their epoch, whatever their epoch
exactly.
is.
Yeah, exactly. You can define the epoch. That's a very good way to say it. That's a much more succinct way than I said it. Yeah, define your start point, and then you can say, hey, we build weekly, so we'll use the build week thing.
Yeah, we only have 14 years until everything crumbles anyway. So
Hey, wait a sec.
that's 2037. Come on.
We have spent so long getting ready for those kind of things. We're going to be just fine.
We'll see in 14 years. Okay, so where do we start? So I have a clone of this. Oh, the other thing, too, I want to take a look at is here's the docs. So these docs, this is the pipeline step documentation.
Right.
where does this come from? Because that's not the same as, similar, but not the same.
Right. So that, and you hit it. So what this is describing, this is telling about individual steps. The first thing we see there is, let's see, that first parameter, that first
version number string.
Version number. Okay. And so version number string, and this is this, and it gives a bunch of detail about, hey, what is this thing?
Right.
As you scroll down, you'll see other parameters like override builds all time, skip failed builds, or project start date. So those things are the pipeline arguments, so the arguments to the pipeline step that have been extracted by the pipeline steps doc generator. So they come right from the source code. And the fact that there's no description for, let's scroll down a little bit, so keep going down, Darin.
Well, here.
Right here, this block, right? There's no description for those things, probably because there's no help for them in the source code. So when the user sees these, they won't get any online help either. So our first goal is to add examples of how to use this. And I think for that, we probably want to just spend some time being sure we can create good examples.
Okay. So let's go to the code.
Okay.
Before we go in, let me double check comments here. Hello, everybody that's here with us live. Luis, you're quite welcome. I can need to talk today. It's been one of those days already. So I've got the code up. The only thing I've done other than cloning it is I did a Maven clean verify.
Okay.
So this is fresh. I mean, I've done nothing. I've not even looked at, other than just pulling the POM up, I haven't looked at anything. So if I'm wanting to, let's go back over to the docs. If I'm wanting to make changes to this, I'm guessing this is really what we're wanting to do. We're not as concerned about this README as we are this
correct
documentation.
If we change readme.adoc or readme.md, that will change the top level plugins page, plugins.jenkins.io.
Right.
And that's a good thing to change, but that's not inside the user's running Jenkins, whereas this page also appears inside a running Jenkins environment.
Got it. Okay. So where do we start?
Let's look for one of those strings and let's go find it in the source files. So copy some text from there and let's go find it.
Okay. So do we want to start with one that exists or do we want to start with one that's
Let's
empty?
start with one that exists because it's easier to find one that exists and extend it.
Now, what's interesting to me is we have version number string, which appears to be required, but then it seems like the whole purpose of this is project start date, and it's optional.
No, if your epoch matches
that's true. Now,
the default, then you're fine, right? So project start date being, I agree with you that for most people, project start date wouldn't be optional, but there's a concept.
Well, since this is smaller, let's stick with this one. Since this is a single one-liner, because the first one is huge.
Great.
In comparison. So let's go search for this. Okay, now we're really starting. For people that are watching, now we're doing the real work. Okay, so this appears, so this is too much noise to me. So what do I really want to look for?
So we're looking for project start date in an HTML file. Because the help will be HTML.
Okay, so let's see what we got here. So we got common and step, so we got 2 jellies. And I don't see any HTML at all.
Oh, well, so then let's try different text search. So go back to your search, and instead of using the words project start date, use the date the project began.
That makes more sense. Thank you.
Because that's also less likely to occur in the source code.
You are correct, sir. Okay, there we go. So we have 2.
Okay, good.
Why do we have 2?
Don't know. Let's see. What are they?
So we have, they're the same. One's in source main resources.
Okay, and the
other is source main web app.
Oh, okay. So this will be fun because we should explore and see. We're going to make changes in both of them.
Okay.
And then we're going to figure out which one actually made a difference.
Okay. So I'll do this for people that watched before. We're going to do QQQ on this one, and we're going to do, for all my Canadian friends, ZZZ.
Very good. Okay, now we want to build it and run it.
All right. So,
just Maven HPI : run.
That's all I need to do. Okay, that's right, because it does
Right.
it does a full life cycle.
Right. It will do all the other work for us.
Okay, so it seems like I pick what appeared to be simple, and right off the bat, it becomes very confusing. It's like, why do I have two of these things?
Well, and I hadn't looked at this before because was just reading the developer documentation, and it talks specifically about this web app location.
Yep.
If your config.jelly has a help equals such and such. But as far as I can tell, the web app thing is not used by this pipeline steps doc generator. So we're gonna do some exploring to see.
Interesting. Okay, so we're up and running.
Yeah, so bring up a web browser to localhost port 8080 and let's see what we can see.
Okay.
Good. So now from this page, do /pipeline-syntax. Let's open the pipeline syntax editor.
Okay.
And there it is right at the top.
Right.
Good. Okay, so now scroll downwards, click the question mark on project start date.
Okay. So that's
And we
QQQ.
got QQQ, which was what? The one in...
That's the one in source. I'm sorry, in resources.
Good. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's take the bold initiative then, and
Okay.
first step, let's remove with git rm the other one.
Really?
I'm serious. Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't think it's helping us. We
Well-
proved already that we see it there.
But we
now,
know
I
we
guess
have-
we could check one other place, Darin. There's another place we could check.
Okay.
Because maybe we'll find ZZZ somewhere else. Let's go create a new freestyle project. I know you're not a big fan of freestyle, but this particular thing happens to work in freestyle.
Right.
Okay, and now if we look here, we should be able to find something. Create a formatted version number. Okay, now hit the project start date question mark there.
There it is.
Okay, so we need, apparently we found a reason why in this case it needs both of them. Now most pipeline keywords are not also available in freestyle projects. Therefore, this is a rather uncommon environment, right? This is version number plugin existed well before pipeline existed. And so it
Right.
adapted to meet the needs of freestyle users.
Well, that's annoying.
No,
It seems like I
that's-
should. I mean, it's fine, but I'm just saying. Now I've got duplicate code, and I have no choice in the matter,
and
which stinks.
And there, I think I could show you that you do have a choice, but I don't think we want to figure out how to make freestyle simpler for now. Let's work on pipeline,
Okay.
because
so I'm
the
going to
complaint
leave
was pipeline.
pipeline. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and revert. Whoops. What in the world? Oh, because that's interesting.
Did you do a spotless apply by any chance? No.
Nope.
Oh.
I did not. Anyway, let me just get rid of this one so we know what we're going to be
Okay,
working on.
good.
Okay. So what we're wanting to do, okay, do we want to do anything? Actually, we'll get rid of both of these, right?
No,
we- 'cause
we're going to edit the QQQ one. We really
Okay,
are.
all right.
We're going to add a real example.
Okay. So what do I do here? Do I do another paragraph?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I can do that.
All right. Okay. So and now we need. All right. Now we get into Mark Waite's hang-up mode. Sorry about this, but
okay.
I like to point people to the pipeline syntax snippet generator
Okay.
by telling them in the opening phrase, the pipeline syntax snippet generator would generate an example like this.
Generator would generate an example like this.
Right. Okay, so and now we want to. I think it's code is the HTML markup for that next line down.
Do you want to just leave it in the same paragraph? Yeah, I guess so.
No,
I got to do a break.
Yeah,
Yeah, because this is not normal HTML, or is it?
It's
Yeah,
close enough to normal HTML. How about
we'll
that?
see how it plays out.
Right. Code. Okay, so now we say, now we want to do this in, because this thing is returning a value, we can't really do it in declarative syntax. So I think we say def space version equals, and now it's it's camel-cased version number, and that it's not a terribly friendly thing here. And I think it's now parenthesis. And then we need something. Let's see, what the one that I'm using. Mine was project start date :
Next line. Sorry, I lost you.
Yeah,
for a second.
next line or
Okay.
same line is. Oh no, it's inside the parentheses.
Oh, inside
it's
the
gotta be
parentheses.
yeah, it's one of the.
Right.
It's the argument.
Got it. Okay. So project.
Start date : and then a string that is the ISO formatted date, like 2024-10-01. Oh yeah, 10-24. Perfect. Very, very much unambiguous. Great. All right, so that's and then comma. And now version number string : and now what I put in mine, and I think here we want single quotes, not double quotes.
Okay. Single
Because-
quotes, really.
Yeah, I think so, because I don't think we want Groovy to do the interpolation for us,
Okay.
because we want the plugin to do the interpolation, not Groovy.
So which format do we want to pass to it?
I was thinking do builds _all _time, but we could also do, let's see, could you read builds _today? Is that a count of builds today?
Builds today returns the number of builds that have happened today, including this one.
Yeah,
resets
that's
at
a great
midnight.
one. So builds, let's use builds _today.
And just builds today, right?
Right, yeah. So it's a count of today's builds.
That seems weird. Okay. Well, and that's...
And
we
I
want that
think you
to-
want it surrounded by the $ curly brackets thing.
Oh, wait. Yeah, because I saw this.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
Okay. I'll buy that. Because that's just an environment variable that's getting generated.
Yeah, but I think it
still have
needs
to put
to
it
all
in-
be inside single quotes.
Single quotes.
Right. And now right after that, maybe you put in a new statement that is echo and display the value. Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Is that it?
Yeah, that thing will need to be in braces, won't it? Either you take the $sign off, or you
just
put
leave
it
it
in
version.
quotes. Right. Echo version. Right. And now let's go test drive this to be sure it actually works.
Okay. Oops. Because, hey, who knows? Okay, so if I come down here and I hit enter, in theory it should restart.
Mm-hmm.
And if I go to pipeline syntax here, pipeline syntax, new page. What did I type wrong? Okay, let's look at the log. Because something,
Yeah, it may not have
servlet
liked what we put in.
exception, caught while, da 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 da. Oh, instance identity missing. Okay, it got lost. So let me just.
So just interrupt and restart.
I'm curious if making those changes, if that would hot load or not. If you always have to restart this kind
It
of change.
generally does hot load.
Okay. Well, okay, and I'm air quoting hot load. I mean.
Right. It reloads it from the file system, if I remember right. At least I think that's been my experience.
Yeah. Okay. So if I expand this now, okay. Well, that looks stinky.
Okay.
But
So
that's
we
okay
need-
because
Well, we need a break. We need a line break in there for sure. There's
Well,
more to it.
I think actually beyond that, what we can do is because I don't like how it's butted up against that.
Ah,
I
right.
want to give it
Okay.
some. I want to give it some air.
Right.
So I'm just going to go ahead and close up the paragraph here.
Right. Give it a whole new paragraph.
Yeah, and do that. Oops, not that. Oops. And then I'm going to leave that, but now I'm going to do this.
Okay.
And who knows?
Right. Now let's go back and try your page. Let's see if it will hot reload.
Okay. Oops.
And you
Down
shouldn't even
here.
have to hit enter in your command window. Just hit
You think so?
hit
Okay.
the browser again, because I think it re-accesses the disk.
Okay. Sure enough. Okay. Good. I guess.
Yeah, well,
Maybe?
now I want to be sure that the example actually works. So
why would we
copy
want to
and
do that?
yeah, right. Copy and paste that into a new pipeline job, and let's go test the pipeline job.
Oh, actually, here. So how would I actually use this? Because, okay, it tells me this, but it's like, what's my project start date? Okay, well, I would need, let's see if this actually does what I think it does. Because this should tell us
that's very nice. You're going to
Right.
actually use the syntax generator. Very good.
to see if it actually does what it's supposed to do.
Great. Okay.
To see if I got this, because it should, if I do this, it should show me what I need to do. So it's like,
right.
oh, I don't need this, right? It's smart enough to know that string. So I don't even have to do that.
Version. Wait a sec. When you say scroll up, where did you what
Right
what
here.
other field? Yeah, what other field values are in there?
Version prefix is empty and worst result for increment.
No, up at the above
Up here?
earlier on the form. Yeah, did we put builds today already?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Either it defaulted or we inserted version number string is builds today.
So if I
I
did
don't remember what we did.
this, I wonder if I have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious. We'll pass unaltered except for any expression in the form of that.
Right. So it says you need to put the $ curly brace to cause it to evaluate it.
Well, that's not what it says.
That's not what it says. Wait a sec. That's what I just saw.
No. What it says is it will be passed through unaltered except that any expression in the form of braces will be replaced according to the table below. So, I mean, yes, it says it does say what it says, but that's a confusing way of saying it.
Okay, got it. So there are improvements to be made in that phrasing. That I will grant you.
This is where when this plugin was created, generative AI didn't exist. I have a
Right.
feeling this is a good one to run through generative AI. To
now
explain
that's
this to me like I'm a third grader.
Right, that's a good idea. I like that idea. Let ChatGPT or one of the other generative AIs offer us a better explanation. I like that.
Yeah, we're not doing that today.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, if I take a look at this,
Mm-hmm.
that seems joy, joy, happy, happy. I feel okay with that. I don't think the double quote on this matters, but just so it doesn't make noise, I'm going to change it to single quotes.
Oh, right.
Just because.
I like that. Yeah. Well, and consistent quoting is probably better than inconsistent quoting. Good choice.
Right. So I'm going to refresh this one more time. And then, let's see, that feels better. So now if I do builds today, is that what was it? Singular or plural? There it is, builds. Okay, builds today. Okay. And I'm going to do this just because we've already done it. -1024.
All right.
And generate it just to see what happens, and that looks okay. In fact, I'm going to copy, now that it looks okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and
I love doing parentheses, even though the example doesn't show it. I wish it did.
And you are welcome to not do parentheses. I like the parentheses myself just because I find it easier to deal with when I think I'm doing something that looks like a function call.
Yep, I completely agree with that. Okay, pipeline. Okay.
Okay, and this one, so hello world is great. So bring down the sample, and then we're going to put a script block inside of it because we got to do an assignment.
Yep. Okay. So now,
Perfect.
in theory, I click save and I click on build now.
And it will certainly fail. I'm sure we made some mistake.
Not
Oh,
passed.
no, it didn't fail. Interesting.
Doesn't show anything.
Oh, do we have declarative pipeline installed? Check your list of plugins.
Interesting. I would have thought that would have come along, but it doesn't because I'm running
Yeah.
within.
Well, because we're running with HPI run,
installed,
first things first. On the updates, update everything.
Can we go and do that now?
Absolutely, because we're gonna want that. So
Right. Okay.
so download those.
Yeah, let's do that. I was thinking, do I need to do anything else? But the answer is no.
Well, and now while it's downloading, go back to Manage Jenkins and let's go get the declarative pipeline plugin because it probably isn't in that list.
Okay. So that and available And that is declarative.
Declarative.
Is it?
Just call it declarative, yeah. Okay, so...
Oh, model API.
And it's 2 or 3 down, so it's not model API, it's that
This
one,
one.
pipeline declarative. That one, install and download and install after restart.
Okay. Waiting on the internet again.
Well, and this is, so what we had here while this is doing what it's doing, the HPI plugin takes the list of dependencies that the plugin itself has declared and loads them.
Right.
But this plugin doesn't have a declared dependency on declarative pipeline.
Right.
So we didn't get declarative.
Right.
So now you'll probably have to, oh, hey, you didn't have to hit your enter key.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I guess that's
Okay,
true.
now-
Yeah,
now it
there
killed
it is.
it.
Now you've got to rerun.
Okay, that's fine. Well, at least know the stop works.
Right.
Or the restart stop works. However you want to say that. Okay.
Right.
Okay, that's up and running. So now, if I go back to... Oh, it didn't get saved. Because it didn't get saved. New item. Queue. Where it is.
What? Interesting. Did we not get... Let's see the list of plugins. Maybe
Oh,
we've got a problem, a failure loading plugins?
Yeah. Unsatisfied dependencies.
Interesting.
Unavailable. Huh.
Oh, what version? Oh, look at that. Okay, Darin, there's a very obvious mistake here.
361. Yep.
Right. That version of Jenkins is so old, the Update Center no longer supports it. Let's
Right.
change your command line.
Okay.
So first things first, do a -D Jenkins.version.
Dot version?
Yeah, .version equals 2.462.3.
Okay.
Now, and we really do this time, before you do that, we need to do a git clean because we want to throw away all of the
Or Maven clean?
those. No, we really want to git clean.
Well, get clean. Oh, right, because I'm running inside of...
We're running in your development environment,
Right,
and what we
okay.
have now is we've got all the plugins for an ancient version of Jenkins, minus XFFD. And it will throw away the thing called work, the target. Now do the Maven -D Jenkins.version, that one, right? So because this plugin is so old and hasn't been updated, its minimum Jenkins version is the first Jenkins version that required Java 11. That means it's, what, almost 2 years old now?
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, it's up and running.
So
So
now
let's see
we've
if
got to
this
go
is better.
install the plugins again.
Again. All right.
Right.
So plugin manager.
Yep.
do this dance
Install
one
the
more time.
updates. Yep.
And then while I'm waiting on... Well, actually, I wonder if it's...
Yeah,
gonna-
while you're waiting, go ask to download declarative,
Okay.
and that should be enough.
Okay. Bummer.
So what's the details message on the failure?
Failed to load update structs plugin to be updated. So we are...
Yeah, a restart
Which is-
now.
Okay. So just restart and then we'll dance it one more time.
Uh-huh. We'll see if it does it for us.
Okay.
Again, this plugin declares dependencies that are really old.
That's too bad. Okay. Well, but this is reality if you decided that you
It
wanted
is.
to
If
adopt a plugin.
if you're going to adopt this plugin, maybe you need version number computation like this is doing. You say, hey, my business needs it. I'm going to adopt it. You'll start with that.
Okay, all that looks to be updated now here, just for
Good.
brains.
Okay.
Everything's good.
All right. So
now
now
if
now let's go back and create ourselves a pipeline.
There we go.
Yes. Look at that. And the UI looks right, too.
okay. Then this. No, do I still have it in my buffer? I do. Okay. Good.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
I was sort of shocked that it's still there. Okay, good. So now if we click on save and we click on build now,
And I'm still expecting a red X. We must have made some mistake.
there we go. Okay. So no DSL version number found. Oh, because we didn't, wait, the plugins should be there. No such DSL method.
Well, so let's look at the script again. Did we put it in a script block?
We did? Question mark. Yes.
It did. It's in a script block. Huh. Well, let's check while we're here. Open pipeline syntax. Let's see if it thinks it's there.
Okay. Negative.
It doesn't think it's there. Interesting. And yet we ran the HPI run command right from inside the version number plugin development directory, right?
Correct. Here, I'll just to prove that we're here, version number plugin.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That is very interesting.
How does it... Right here. I just did a fresh restart. Let's see.
Yeah, let's try it again.
Let's see. Pipeline syntax.
No, huh? See, and last time it appeared at the very top of the list, right? Because of that capital letter on it. Interesting. Okay, so
I wonder if it even shows up as available with this version of...
Oh, good question. Check it. Available plugins, search for version number.
Negative. Does not.
Wait, that's really...
Okay, let's check installed.
Okay.
It's installed.
It is interesting. Okay, so let's look. Is it hiding from us? Why would it not be visible to the pipeline syntax generator?
It was visible before we went to 462.
Right. Well, and it's visible on my local one here. I had started on 479, so it's not that it's, at least the released version of it is visible. I wonder if maybe we need to do a Maven clean verify. Maybe
Let's do
it's
that.
somehow or other not happy. So you can skip tests on this one. Mine is
All right.
caps D skip tests.
But it's weird that we didn't have that.
Yeah,
With
we
the
didn't have to
300
do that
series.
before, did we?
No.
And what Java version are we running? Something modern?
21.
Okay, good. So this, let's run it and see. Jenkins.version 460. Yeah. And we don't see any obvious messages saying anything about, hey, something was disastrously wrong.
Right. So just for grins, this is installed version number. It's there.
Okay, so it's installed. Good. And there it is. Okay, I have no idea why we had to do that Maven clean verify, but that solved it.
Okay. Build now, and 2 is green, and that's 1.
1. Okay, build it. Wait a sec.
That's
1.
builds today. There's been 1 build.
But that's build number 2.
2.
Okay, build it again.
Okay.
Let's see if the number increases.
Well, actually, the other build completely failed.
Oh, and we had told it to only increment on success, didn't we?
Correct.
Okay, so now we should see a 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right, so let's change the logic just for grins. Configure. And instead of that success that was included there, oh, it's not in this one. We took it out as the default. That's fine. We'll leave it.
Okay.
Okay, so we've shown that we know how to make this thing go, and when we look in the pipeline syntax editor, did we see, and we saw the example. So we've got it. We've added an example,
Right.
and we've confirmed the example works.
Right. Are we sure we're okay with that?
Yeah. Well, let's see. What else could go wrong?
Well, let's look and see.
What should we test?
So we added that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't affect any. The only place it's showing up is in the syntax helper.
Right.
If we commit this and it goes through the build cycle, we would expect pipeline syntax. Well, actually, pipeline syntax. If we release this, pipeline syntax would include this example.
Right.
As well as at some point future-wise, the docs would update. This would update.
Correct. This would now have an example there, and users would be able to see it from this page in addition from inside their recent install, their new install of the version number plugin.
Okay. So are we done with project start date? Because I have a feeling we need to do one of the ones that has nothing.
Yeah,
Go from scratch.
Let's take the next one down. Skip failed builds.
Okay. I was trying to figure, just looking at these override, that seems like a lot of work, whereas skip failed builds makes probably more sense.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go back over here.
Right.
We know we're in source main resources, so let's go take a look at that. Because what's interesting to me with this is it's an org JVM net Hudson blah 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 blah.
Right.
Where does that package come from? What's special about that?
That is back to Maven's way of thinking about things are done by convention. That's the path to the Java object that represents that this help is describing. So if you open up the Java navigation above it,
mm-hmm.
we should see Java
Right.
org JVNet Hudson version number.
Right. But then we're matching the directory here matches whatever this is. So
Exactly.
the work we're doing
so
is
version number.
there.
We're in version number step.
Right.
And that's where we're doing exactly that work. And now you see that there's help dash project start date.html. So now we need help dash skip failed builds.html.
Because I'm lazy. Skip failed builds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then
now,
I'll whack at least that for the moment.
Yeah, and give us again a QQQ, something fun that.
No, I won't do that. Well, actually, I could. Hopefully, nobody's going to yell at me, but we'll see.
So I'm not seeing what you're doing. Apparently.
No, you're not. On purpose.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay. This. Now, what are the possibilities of warp drive? Commit a record.
This is great.
Okay. Anyway, all right. So we did that.
Cool.
So in theory, now this is brand new.
Right.
So I'm curious. Let's see if
it appears. So,
right, because that's what I'm not confident.
Let's see if it does. So pipeline syntax.
Okay.
And now we're looking for skip failed builds. No, it's not skip worse than. So it's not even on this page as a syntax element.
Oh.
So
that's weird.
So that doesn't help us at all, right? So
well, but why not? That feels like something that should be. All right, so let's look and see what skip failed builds is about.
Okay.
Because that feels like that should be an option somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Skip failed. Okay, it's a Boolean. It's deprecated.
Interesting. Okay, so maybe they don't include deprecated
Maybe.
methods.
Okay. So let's
fields.
All right, so let's wave that one off.
Okay.
And because let's go with one that we feel like is probably right. So how about version prefix? Was there something for version prefix?
Let's go back to the page. We should see it.
Oh, there is. Okay, that's not what I want. So it's interesting that. So let's just do override builds all time.
Okay, but is there an item for that on the page?
Well, that's what we got to find out. So we'll go back to
Okay.
here. So maybe the person commenting, so there's 4 parameters,
Right?
and each one of them has
Some help already.
some help already. We just gave an example.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting that, okay, this is me coming at it cold.
Right?
I've got these things here
Mhm.
that are optionals, but I
Right.
can actually pass them, and they're unusable. So why do they need to be there?
At least they're not in the syntax generator. I suspect they would be accepted, but they're not in the syntax generator. Let's try something just for fun.
Okay.
Does this file already have an @ symbol annotation somewhere in it?
If I can spell, no, it does not.
It does not. Okay, well, so let's try adding an @ symbol annotation. And let's do it to skip failed builds just for fun. We'll throw it away before we're done.
Okay. Okay. And where does that come from?
And it should offer you, the IDE should offer you an import because it'll come from the structs plugin, I think. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
And it takes you give it parentheses and it
is.
takes a single string.
Okay.
Oh, wait a sec. What was the import? Was it?
Just in CI symbol. That was the only option.
Good. Okay. Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Okay.
So, and now inside that parentheses, those parentheses, put a quoted string and skip failed builds for now. We're just going to put, right, there we go.
That good enough for the minute?
Right,
Anyway.
just to try.
All right. Now this one would require a hot reload. would
Yeah,
think.
because we've got to rebuild the Java files.
Yeah. That's so strange. Okay. So if we come back over here, actually I'll go here. If I refresh this, what we're expecting to see is a 5th.
Or we
lost
broke
it
it
again.
completely. It looks like we broke it. Go back to the IDE again.
Oh yeah, there's.
So it's unhappy. Try another rebuild.
Okay. Why is that whining? Is that okay?
No,
Nope.
that's
It does not like that
interesting. Oh, okay.
for that location.
So not allowed. All right, nice thought.
Because there only appears to be 4 getters.
Oh, actually,
Here.
okay. For my benefit,
Mm-hmm.
on that data bound constructor.
On the one that's
that one.
deprecated. Yeah.
Oops, nope, not. Oh, that's weird. Okay, usually you don't use a deprecated data bound constructor.
Okay, so this extends abstract step impl. Is that still okay? Is that normal?
I'd have to double check to be sure. I'm
Okay.
not sure. It's a good question.
Okay. So now what?
Well, let's go back to our web page.
Okay.
Help me remember the thing that we really want is we'd like to did we get version number back?
No, I got to restart it.
Okay.
Let me, now we got it back.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
All right. So what do we do now? Okay, so let's take, well, okay, we've added an example to project start date. We could go ahead and add an example to the others.
Okay, let's do that. So let me get rid of this.
Yeah, that
new.
one's not going to help us.
No. Okay. But in theory, that's what you would do if there was
Right. Help
if there was a
field
field there
name.
with Now, I wonder if there's a field showing up and it has the help bubble. Does the help bubble show up, or does the help bubble show up if there is not an HTML file?
No. Well,
It shouldn't.
in general, I would not expect it to, right?
Okay.
So
Right. So if you're looking at, well, here, let's just go pick, not because this is the one we're working on, but let's go to archive artifacts. That's a bad one.
no, that's a good one. It's got help.
No, I'm saying I'm looking for one that doesn't have.
Okay, that's
I'm
got
just trying to
something
quickly
missing.
see, like SEM here
Right.
doesn't have a, like, to me that's help. That needs help. Like,
Right, and if you
what is
click
it?
the down arrow there, it'll tell you, oh, well, there's
Yeah.
nothing to pick, and that's probably because we don't have the Git plugin installed.
Right. Okay. Anyway, that's what we do. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Version number. Okay. So here, what do we do? We want to add an example to.
Yeah, so we've
One of
got
the
our
others.
example in project start date. Let's go ahead and add an example to version prefix.
Okay. Because that would probably be useful.
And before we do the add, let's be sure that it works.
Make sure it's what we think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whoops. And there's that one. If I refresh this, prefix is QQ. So yep, that's the one
Good. So
got.
we have the right file. Good.
Okay. Now we have to find. Let me get rid of this so we're not doing anything. I'm going to be boring and grab this
Mm-hmm.
because.
Just because.
And then here we're going to do what? Well, let's go use it first to see what matters here.
Yeah,
So
so
if-
I'd put the text prefix dash or something like that, right?
Okay.
Yeah, great.
If I do that, nothing generates because this
You
is
need to give it-
required.
oh, right, you've got a required string. So
But it doesn't tell me that.
underscore builds underscore. Yeah, okay.
Okay. So there's my version prefix.
Yeah,
Okay.
so let's take that and paste it into a job, and let's be sure that the version prefix behaves the way we expect.
Okay. So now if we go back over to, where am I at? Right here, I will go ahead and do this.
And actually, you could just say echo space and that version number thing.
Fair enough.
I think, anyway. Now, you may have to put parentheses around it. I'm not sure what echo will do with. Let's try it.
I timed out.
Right, out of date.
Let's go back here. And okay, that blows up for
Yeah, okay. So for the echo, it really wants parentheses.
okay. We'll do that. So if I do this, you're thinking that?
No, I was
Braces?
thinking just after the word version number, put a
Oh,
parenthesis.
that one. Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense.
And then close the statement with parenthesis. Let's see if that works. Could still fail completely, right? I mean,
Sure. They have passed, and it's prefix QQ1. Now,
Okay.
it reset the build numbers. But that's true because we didn't use the same project start date. We passed in an
right.
empty project start date.
Okay, right.
So if you're going to commit to use this plugin, you'd better understand what
Right.
what your
need to-
epoch is. Otherwise, because
Egg.
you're changing epoch in the middle, you're toast.
Right. That may surprise you. So build it again. Let's see if we get a 2. I assume we will.
Okay. Now, while we're waiting on that for a second, there it is. 2.
Yep.
Yep.
Good. Okay.
Right. So then, so now what do we do? Oh, now we got to go back over into this,
the IDE. Yeah, take that text.
copy this, and
Right.
let's go.
Now we're
back
going to go
into
paste
here.
it into our IDE. And of course, we'll want to simplify it, remove the things that, because we don't need a project start date for this one, this
Right.
example.
It's a little annoying that it didn't tell me I had to type in a version number string.
Right.
Because oops, I need to keep that one. And then I'm just going to get rid of this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that, I'll leave the def in there for now. Okay.
Okay.
So it's interesting that we're just putting in this little step instead of a whole pipeline.
Yeah, well, and it's a fair point, because what I've liked doing single steps, because whole pipeline for me tended to make the examples much longer than I'd hoped. But that may be the wrong approach. So if you open up your web browser to the documentation for the Git plugin, that was my worry, was it would be overwhelming to give a full and complete pipeline.
Right, because in that case, let me duplicate this. Let's look for, because I already filtered to this.
Yeah, so pipeline
that
steps reference. Yeah, perfect. And just do checkout.
Or
Yeah,
checkout.
Git is perfect. Actually, Git is just fine. Git is fine because it's even simpler. There we go. That one. So this is very simple step, and yet lots and lots of text to describe what are relatively simple examples. Git, poll faults, and a URL.
Right. So you have, okay, so here's my question is, where does all this text come from?
That
Because
comes-
this is all generated, right?
It is. It's extracted from the Git plugins help file.
Oh, the general help file. So there's a second.
Well, no. This is from the help file that the Git plugin provides for the Git step.
Right. So if we go back over and look at, so if I look at this, actually here, let's go to Git. Do I have Git installed? I don't.
Probably don't. Yeah. But if you look at dir,
Yeah. Okay, so we've got that, right? So that's that.
That help text comes from the plugin. Exactly.
Right, but then I don't have that here
Correct.
on version number.
And if you'd like to have help on version number, we can do that. That's
That would
probably
make
a good one.
sense, right?
Let's try it. Let's see if we can make it work.
Okay, so where would that go? And we have about 7
Yeah,
minutes.
we may have just about enough time to do it. So right next to help-project-start-date.html, put in help.html. No
In the
dash.
same level?
Yep, same subdirectory.
Okay. And it's just help.
Uh-huh. And again, put something in it that's, Bob's your uncle, whatever. Exactly.
Bob's your uncle. That wins. Bob is your uncle.
Okay.
All right.
And now we'll need to rebuild.
Why do we need to rebuild?
I'm not sure that it will. Well, good point. Try it. I like that.
No,
I like that
enter.
idea.
No, I messed up. Well, I did a restart. So if refresh here, now I have that, and Bob is your uncle.
Good. Okay, so we just added help for it.
Right. Obviously, that's not very helpful.
Well, and okay, but that's where, for instance, the contents of the README file would be a good thing to put in there, right? At least my view is that README describes what is version number, and a user who's inside Jenkins wondering what is this thing clicks through to it.
Okay, let's see how noisy that looks, because I'm curious to see.
Yeah, remember the README is ASCII doc or a Markdown, and so
Yeah, that's fine. We'll let it blow up. I don't. If it comes over even partially correct is fine.
okay.
Where am I at? Okay, there I am. And then do this. Yeah, because I need to rewrite
You'd have
everything
to-
in ADOC.
Right, but
ADOC
this
to
is
HTML.
this is a good way to experiment, if nothing else.
Right. So
Yes,
if I
it
come
will look
here,
awful, but looking awful is fine.
At least I know it's there,
Right, there it
which
is.
is fine. Okay. Interesting.
So the help.html is for the top level
parent,
thing,
yeah.
right, for that object.
Interesting. Or for that object. So help.html is the object itself.
Exactly.
And
And
then you
help
define-
dash something is help dash XXX is for the field XXX.
Right. And there's just magic happening under the hood in order to tie all that together.
It finds those things by looking for them, right?
So it feels very much like messages. An
Yeah,
extension of
yeah.
How
In fact,
base messages work.
right. The same technique we used with messages is, in the resources for the Java class include the message properties,
Right.
and the help files for both the top level object and any fields of it.
Right. So if I did have internationalization going on here, that
There
would
would
also
be a messages.properties
for that
in
one.
this folder.
Same folder. Okay. So it's
Exactly.
this the folders make a big difference.
They do. They do.
They have
Absolutely.
the convention has to be there, otherwise it's just not going to work.
Right.
Okay. So what I will do offline is I will remap all this stuff from ADOC to HTML and see how that goes. That'll be a fun little 20-minute
Well,
job.
okay. If you don't mind cheating, you could always
I
go
don't mind
grab plugins.jenkins.io, which generates the HTML, which presents HTML, right? So
Okay, here. Let's do
HTML
that.
source code from plugins.jenkins.io, because that page is generating. It reads the ADOC and turns it into HTML.
View, what am I selected? Okay, there we go. So for the view page source, and you're saying if I just go here,
You have to look further down because, of course, it's got
this plugin
you're seeing the
creates-
whole page, but
oh, this
Yeah.
is the plugin right here.
there you
So
go.
I grab that.
That is truly HTML for the thing.
Yeah, but I'm not scrolling. Okay, I'll be lazy. I'll do that later
Oh.
because it's got a lot of extra divs and stuff that might cause problems.
They could, and you may choose not to have the divs.
Yeah.
That's a valid question.
Okay, so that was our attempt at trying to make a plugin a little more useful, at least the help in a plugin a little more useful.
Right.
I don't know if we were there or not.
No, there's more to do. We did this with She Code Africa, and we found it had lots of places where things can go badly wrong. This is for me as a very much a maintainer task more than a first time contributor task.
Well, especially looking back at version number again, we had all those extra fields that didn't show up in the syntax generator,
Right.
but yet the documentation is auto-generated showing that those fields are there, and it's a chicken and egg problem.
Well, we didn't verify, are those fields actually valid or not.
Right.
It could be that the doc generator is just making a mistake. So there are all sorts of things to check there. Hey, does this really work the way the doc page says, or is it that they're missing because in fact they don't work?
Right. Okay. So we'll wrap with that Monday, whatever date that is, the 8th. Monday the
Okay.
28th. We are going to be enabling Jenkins security scan.
Oh yeah.
Probably on this plugin. I have a feeling here. Let's go back here. Is it even on this plugin? Let's see. Because if not, it's not. Oh, wait.
Good.
Wait. No, it is.
Okay. Well, there are certainly plugins that we
Don't have
can
it.
enable the security scan on,
Yep.
right? And
And-
talk about why that's a
Why-
maintainer task and not a contributor task.
Yep. Fair enough. Okay. We'll be back on Monday that's actually going to be our last session. And then next Thursday is going to be release day for 2.479.1. Actually, Wednesday's release day, but we'll be back on Thursday to talk about it because that's a big one.
It is a big one.
It's a big one. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching. If you're watching the replay, do all the YouTube things. Give us a thumbs up and whatever it is. And we will talk to you again next week. And Mark, thanks again.
Thanks, Darin.